Okay, we're doing the thing. Hello, beautiful people. My name is Amanda Zitto. If you are new here, I make motorcycle travel vlogs, how-tos, and general encouragement for you to get out and do the thing. Hopefully you can all hear me and then you can see me and everything is fine. I've got myself some blueberry snacks and I've got Cokes and I've got whiskey. So great, pull up a seat, grab a snack. Hope you have your beverage of choice. And we're gonna hang out. We haven't hung out since like March, which is wild. I did the trip around Oregon in May. I just got back from the 2 sections of the IDBDR that we managed to get done in June. And on Monday, I am leaving for South Dakota to go to the Get On ADV Fest. So all of that is happening, and then I come home for a week, and then I leave again for Rocky Mountain Roll. What is life right now? I hope that you're all doing well. Hello, hello. Hi, Send It Steph. Thank you so much for being here. Cody is here, 2 wheels in a tent. Hello. BMW Rider, hello. Donna is here. Eric is here. New England Moto. Hello, my beautiful people. Thank you so much for being here and making me feel not so alone. Hello, hello. Awesome. Sweet. So the premise of like this live stream was to like answer questions about the Oregon trip if you had any. I'm pretty proud of that series. I think that the cross-country trip probably came out a little bit better, but I am still pretty proud of how the Oregon series came out, and about how quote-unquote well I did about talking to the camera and telling you guys what was happening when it was happening. Short of the weather, it was a pretty darn good trip, so that's cool. Hello, hello! Yay! Okay, I'm gonna pour my drink. Da-da-da-da. Shout out and love to Easy Rider Whiskey for this lovely flask that they sent me, and whiskey, of course. Hello from Australia, Bryce. Thanks so much for being here. That's so cool. And New Zealand. Oh, that is awesome. Hi, Paul. Hello, and Critter is here. Oh, this is awesome. Southern California. Oh, you guys amaze me every single time, I swear. Whiskey and Coke, here we go. Oh, I'm so glad that you enjoyed the Oregon series, Critter. I'm glad it wasn't just me. What whiskey am I drinking? It's called Easy Rider. It's just bourbon. It's made here in Oregon. The Easy Rider, like, I don't know if their distillery is there, but they have a tasting room in Hood River, I think. Maybe it's the Dalles. I'm pretty sure it's Hood River, Oregon. And they sent me this cool little kit with the flask and another bottle of whiskey to celebrate 4th of July. I made a little video over on Instagram in my stories. If you follow me on Instagram, you would have caught that. I don't think I've added it to my highlights yet, but I probably will because I'm kind of proud of it. Filmed a little thing in the garage for it. Footage was beautiful. It was, thank you, Send It, Steph. That's wonderful. Wit is here. Everybody holler at Wit for completing 48 states in 10 days. Girl, you're crazy, and I'm so freaking proud of you. Just, bottom of my heart. It was amazing. On Harley Davidson Pan America, of all things. I'm excited to watch Wit's review of the Pan America. I'm stoked about that. I'm so behind on watching YouTube videos, you guys. I've been traveling so much, it's hard for me to keep up with all of the stuff that I was watching during the fall. So I'm quite behind on everybody else's stuff. But I see you and I appreciate you. Oh, and Lisa says, hi, Pete, thank you. Tell Lisa hi for me. And Mama Zitto is in the chat. Everybody holler at Mom. Yeah. Yes. Get it. Awesome. Okay, I'm going to start with a question from the community post about the trip, and that was, let's see. Bryce asked me, what gear did I regret taking, or a gear that I thought was going to be useful but didn't pan out? Thank you, Bryce, for the question. I think there was quite a few things that I forgot to bring. One of those things being an extra battery pack. Normally when I go on trips, like, I'm super anxious about being able to charge everything that I need to keep charged. And the last couple trips that I had done in the spring, either they were only like overnighters, or I went somewhere and I was able to charge stuff from a wall charger and that kind of thing. So I didn't need all of the battery packs that I had taken with me, like to the trip to Montana. I think that was in April. Yeah, I went up to Washington and went to Montana and came back. I ended up in a hotel room. I ended up at my, stayed at my house in Montana for the week and then came back. And I took like 3 battery packs with me, and I only needed one of them. So I don't know why it didn't click in my brain that I would be spending so much more time in my tent on the Oregon trip than I did on the trip in April. But I was like, I don't need 3 battery packs. I'll just take one, and then I'll charge everything else off of the bike, which was fine for like the first 2 days. And then I kind of had a charging crisis where I can only charge like pretty much one thing off of the bike because I forgot the 12-volt plug adapter that I have for the charging system that I have on the bike. I have one USB and a 12-volt like socket plug, like cigarette lighter plugs. And I do have a cigarette lighter plug that goes to USB and it has 2 ports. So normally I would have 3 ports to charge stuff in my tank bag while I'm riding. And I only had one USB port, and it just was not keeping up with keeping the battery bank charged and then keeping everything else charged, like my inReach and my phone and all of the camera batteries, GoPro, Osmo, and the big camera batteries. It just was not keeping up. So by the time that I got to Ontario to meet up with my brother was awesome and stopped at a Walmart for me and picked up another 12-volt USB charger so that I could finally be charging 3 things at once on the bike. And that helped a lot, but definitely a mistake not bringing all of the battery packs that I normally bring when I do these kinds of trips. So that's a bit of a regret. I did not make that mistake for the IDBDR tour. So that's cool. Like, everything stayed nice and charged on the IDBDR tour. I got like a brand new battery pack too that had like way more milliamps, because most of my battery packs at this point are like 3 years old. And now they make battery packs with like 36,000 milliamps, like half the size of my big brick. So that's cool. And that was super helpful. That's the biggest one that kind of stuck out for like gear that didn't work out on the Oregon trip. I think that like when I did the Idaho trip, like pretty much I used everything that I took with me. And of course, like I always have this like dilemma when I take a camping chair, because half the time I just sit on the ground because I'm too lazy to put my chair together because I don't want to pack it up again. I think I used my chair twice on the Idaho BDR trip. I have a love-hate relationship with my chair. I don't, like, I'm too lazy to put it together and pack it back up. More about the thought of having to pack it back up. It's just another thing to have to pack when you're cleaning up camp again. But I guess since I used it, you can't call it like a thing that I regret taking, because I did use it, you know. It's not like it just sat in my duffel bag the whole time like it kind of normally does when I travel by myself. Yeah, I think that was the big one. It's just like remembering battery packs and my eternal dilemma with the chair. I probably only used it because Tara always used hers. Tara is the gal that went on the Idaho BDR trip with me, which I'm so excited to get to start sharing with you guys next week. The first episode will come out next week. Yeah. Forever Young, how many miles do you do in a day? How often do you stop during the day? Oh my gosh, that's so hard. And it totally depends on the trip too. If I'm really eating up miles, like the cross-country trip, I probably averaged like between 300 and 400 miles a day, but that's because I had a lot of mileage to do in a very short period of time. and I had to do it. Like, there was no other option. I had to come back to a job, all of those things. The Oregon trip, I probably averaged like, I don't know, 170, 200 miles a day, which is closer to what I averaged on the pilgrimage too, like the big loop I did of Montana on Lazarus. That was around 170 miles a day was my average. And that's because I wasn't like trying to get anywhere. I was just like, I had my route, doing my route. I did have a time that I needed to be back home on the pilgrimage, but for the most part, I was just like super relaxed, super chill, stop whenever I want to, take as much time as I want to, stop to like see things and like experience things. And I think 170 miles a day is like a fantastic pace if like you just want to take your time getting out of camp in the morning, you know, make yourself a nice breakfast, and then pack everything up at your own pace and not having to rush to get everything packed up. And then also having enough time to like stop and see a few things during the day, not just one thing, and then also stop and have lunch somewhere, and then get to camp like by, you know, 6 or 7 and have time to make yourself food, all of those things. I think that's a fantastic pace. I know quite a few people who go much faster than that, and I also know people who go much slower than that. It's all personal preference, you know. How many times do I stop a day? That one's harder. I have to stop pretty much every 120 miles or so to get gas, but I don't normally like take my break at the gas station, unless I don't really have any other option. Normally when I get to the gas station, I stop, I get gas, and I leave. And then I probably take a break on average about once an hour, unless I'm off-road, and then it's more often because I'm exerting way more energy than I would if I was just sitting on the bike going down the slab. So I don't know, I probably stop like five times a day, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, totally dependent on the trip. Like, it changes every time I go out. Let's see here. Oh, hello, hi. Did you replace your Cedar Summit yet? Oh, Eric, the water bladder. Yes, Moto Camp Nerd was amazing. And as soon as I got back from the Oregon trip, he sent me a new one and replaced it. Shout out to Moto Camp Nerd. Links in the description to go check him out. You can use my code Magpie for 10% off your order. He's a fantastic dude. And if you're going to buy camping equipment anyway, definitely go check out his shop and support a member of the moto community who's trying to do a cool thing, and I support that. Where do you get the tents with short poles? So the ones that you're talking about is like my bike packing tent, like the Big Agnes Copper Spur HVUL2 bike packing tent. So Big Agnes makes a line of tents that are bike packing. So that just means it has the 12-inch poles, and you can get those tents at pretty much any big outdoor retailer. So Moto Camp Nerd does have a couple of Big Agnes tents that have the shorter poles. REI, I think Sportsman's Warehouse has them sometimes. Sometimes they don't. That one's kind of more iffy. But REI definitely carries the bike packing tents, and Moto Camp Nerd has a few. I think there's still a couple in stock. Everybody's having stock issues right now, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. But I think that last time I checked, Moto Camp Nerd had one of the Fly Creek bike packing tents in stock. That one's a little less spacious than my Copper Canyon tent, but most places that I have looked now are kind of out of stock of my specific tent. The Big Agnes makes a couple different versions of those kind of style of bike packing tents. All have pretty similar features to my Copper Canyon. But yeah, am I saying it? No, I'm not saying it. Copper Spur? Oh, I have too many words. I've already forgotten. Anyway, Moto Camp Nerd, REI, bike packing. Cool. Yeah. Hi. How many? Okay, I answered that one. Yeah. My wife rides also, and we watch you and many other female motorcycle YouTubers. Oh, that's so cool. That's awesome. I know I've been catching up on everybody's posts about going to Babes Road Out East Coast, and just like, it makes my heart so full seeing everybody meet each other, but also I'm just so sad that I wasn't there. What is the bare minimum that you could take on a long distance trip? Danny, I think that bare minimum, you need at least 2 changes of clothes, minimum. I know there are people who only like take 1 change of clothes, but you really want to be able to wear something else while you wash the other set. So at least 2 sets of clothes. You need to have a fleece or something else to get warm if the temperature drops. That's very important. You need, are you camping or are you hoteling it? This is a very complicated question. Assuming that you're camping, you then also need some kind of shelter that's specific to you. If I prefer a tent, you know, it's nice to have a tent. But I also know people who do the tarp thing where you just, you know, hang a tarp and pitch it off the side of your bike to create a makeshift shelter. And then you need a sleeping pad, and you need a sleeping bag. Those are non-negotiable, in my opinion. Shelter options vary, but you definitely need a sleeping pad and you definitely need a sleeping bag. Let me think. You need water storage, so you need some kind of water bottle. You'll need luggage, obviously, to keep all these things in. Let's see. Obviously, wallet, insurance, all of those normal necessity things. I'm probably forgetting things. I mean, like, you can stop and eat at restaurants along the way, so you don't necessarily need any kind of like camp cooking equipment. Mostly you need shelter and you need clothes for your body and you need to be able to layer up if it gets cold, and you need water. Water is a must. And you need luggage to carry all those things. And I guess, like, worst case scenario, you just pick up what you need along the way, but that requires you to have more liquid income in order to accommodate things that you may need along the way. Yeah, and that's a little bit harder than just like buying things like one thing at a time in preparation for a trip, because that would all come out of your bank account like all at one time instead of over a span of months. I'm probably forgetting things. I mean, you need the motorcycle too, and a helmet and gear, and yeah. That's an interesting thought problem. We'll be going back to Yellow Pine to continue the IDBDR this year. I hope so. Hi, Robert. IDBDR probably, I do not have time to do that this year, so I probably won't be going back this year. I don't know if that's going to happen next year. I normally plan next year's trips next year, depending on what I want to do by the time January rolls around again. But right now, the rest of my year kind of consists of like going to South Dakota for Get On ADV Fest on Monday. I leave for that on Monday, so that's taking up July. August is Rocky Mountain Roll. Cool, and then I'm going to come back and chill for a little bit, do like a couple one-nighters, like in the Oregon and Washington area. And then in September, I'm going to Overland Expo West, which is going to be a huge thing. Like, I'm going to Flagstaff, Arizona. I'm very excited about that. Get to hit like part of the country that I've never seen before on the west side of the country anyway. And then I have a tentative plan for October, but I'm not going to share that because I don't know if I'm going to be able to afford it yet. But I do already have plans that are kind of like taking up October. And then by the time that November and December kind of roll around, it's getting a little bit late in the season for me to think about going places on the motorcycle alone. Well, by alone, I mean like not putting it on the back of the truck and taking the bike and the truck someplace, parking the truck, and then continuing a trip. So that takes a lot more funds because gas for the truck is pretty expensive, at least twice as much as it costs to take the motorcycle places. So I don't at this time have plans for November and December. Probably gonna do some more like garage stuff again and cover some topics that people have been asking me to cover. And that kind of like rolls us through the rest of the winter. Yeah. But at this time, I just do not have the time to go back to Yellow Pine to try to finish the Idaho BDR this year. For context, though, I have already ridden the Magruder, and I have ridden most of the Motorway. So really the only sections of the Idaho BDR that I haven't done is that like northern section from Pierce, I think it is. Pierce to the Canadian border is the only bits that I haven't done now. Oh, yes, the bit from Yellow Pine to Elk City, that part too. But I have ridden Magruder, I have ridden the Motorway. Those are still, in my personal opinion, the best parts of the Idaho BDR. But again, I haven't done the northern section yet, or that little bit from Yellow Pine to Elk City. I know everybody that I talked to in Yellow Pine was raging about that little bit from like Elk Summit to Elk City, but probably not this year. That was a very rambly answer, but so I exist. Did I see Bigfoot? No, I did not. Oh gosh. Chat. Oh, I missed some super chats. Thank you so much, Lori. Thanks for all your great YouTube videos. I wish you continued success. Thank you so much, Lori, for the super chat. Cheers. Thank you, James, for the super chat. Cheers. Let's see. Always setting up camp in the dark. Yep, that's me. We didn't manage to set up our tents not in the dark a couple of times on the Idaho BDR, so pretty proud of that. I get not setting up comfort items. Guess it boils down to anxiety and getting packed up, back up and getting on the road again. Wish we humans could get by this. For real, Jeff, that is a real thing. Have I ever thought of roll-up solar panels? I did not take roll-up solar panels, but I have used like regular like soft solar panels. I did that on the pilgrimage because the alternator on Lazarus just wasn't powerful enough to put juice out to keep my battery charged, and also for me to charge other things and not feel like weird about it. Anyway, long story short, I did use solar panels on the pilgrimage. It was awesome, but since riding other motorcycles like Briarios and the Tiger that have more high output stators, I just charge stuff off of the bike. I think like if I was doing it more long term, the way that Two Wheels Big Life, is that what, oh my gosh, my brain is not functioning correctly. I think it's Two Wheels Big Life, right? Richard and Chris, the way that they're traveling, like long term, like I think that solar panels would be amazing for that specifically, but having the option to have just battery packs and then also just charging up the bike while the bike is running, going down the road, I don't need them, if that makes sense. 170 miles my stop of the trip. That's good for you, Steve. Like I said, everybody has different paces. 60 miles first stop, yep. Have any advice on riding in the rain? Have good rain gear. That's my advice. Avoid train tracks. Avoid tar snakes in the road and painted spots, because those get really slippery. If you can get like waterproof gloves that have the little like ridge on the finger so that you can like windshield wipe your face shield, that is also super helpful. Other than that, those are my suggestions. Good rain gear, waterproof boots, waterproof gloves, and get the ones with like the little ridge so that you can windshield wiper your face shield. Avoid slippery areas. You're golden. Am I coming to New York? Not anytime soon. I have been sweating bullets for the 8-inch Alpha Pan. They finally just came into stock and should arrive by the 12th. Oh, that's awesome, Falcro. I hope that you love yours as much as I loved mine, or love mine, present tense. Enjoy your video. Thank you so much. Hi. Flashlight is helpful. This is true. Flashlight would be helpful. In a pinch, you can use your motorcycle headlight. if Harley Davidson had a test ride day in your area, would take the opportunity to try out the Pan America. Absolutely. Actually, information about that. I did have a scheduled meeting to go to Idaho Falls, actually yesterday, to ride the Pan America. But then Revzilla reached out and offered me a spot to go to the Get On ADV Fest, and BMW and Harley will be there, so I'll get to test ride the Pan America at the Get On ADV Fest in South Dakota next weekend, which I'm very excited about. Speaking of the Get On ADV Fest, if any of you would like to go, I have one more ticket to give away. I unfortunately was not able to set up the stuff to just do the giveaway here in the stream, but if you would like to go to Get On ADV Fest, and you can go, it's next weekend in Sturgis, South Dakota. The ticket like covers your ticket and everything, and you just have to get yourself there. The ticket covers a spot to camp there, and I think there's like food and stuff involved, but it would be super cool. And if you can go, I know it's short notice, but if you can go, email me and I will pick somebody at random to get the ticket to go to Get On ADV Fest. So my email, asthemagpieflies@gmail.com. Email me, I'll pick somebody to give the ticket to. I would love to see you there. So if you can make it, I know it's super short notice, but I do have a ticket to give away. So email me. Cool. Awesome. Babes Rat was amazing. I took so much away from your videos for the trip. Oh, I just barely overpacked. But I did forget my toothbrush. That's awesome stuff. I'm so glad that the videos were helpful for your planning and everything. I think we all forget something vital. It inevitably happens until you're like a few trips into the season, I feel like anyway. The first trip of the season this year, I forgot tent stakes of all things and a pen. I always have a pen. I always have something to draw with, and I had 0 things to make any kind of marks with. And I realized that once I got to the campsite and I was trying to fill out the ticket to reserve my spot, and I had nothing to make marks with at all. I had to go and bother people who were camped way down the way to get a pen to do that. It was ridiculous. Anyway, that's awesome. Hello, Australia. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Sean, thank you so much for the super chat. Cheers, my friend. I'm just getting caught up here. Are you going to come here to Overland Expo Mountain West in Loveland, Colorado? We're closer to Oregon. Pete, I see you. No, oops, sorry. My legs are going to sleep. I'm just sitting on the floor. I am not going to Mountain West. I'm just doing the one in Flagstaff this year. I'm sorry. It's the only one I could work out. Maybe next year. Love to camp back one day. Yeah. Am I going to Babes or Out Central Coast? Probably not. All the tickets were sold out by the time that I learned that tickets were on sale. So probably not. Towards the mysterious October plans. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate your contribution. Packing gets easier each day on a long trip. Yes, depending on how, like, if you have a habit of picking up more things along the way. Then it gets harder. 2 Wheels Big Life. Okay, I was right. Thank you. Thank you. Have you ever used a potato as wet, for your face shield? No, I haven't. I have tried all of the like weird like sprays and gimmicky things that you can do to like make your face shield like more water resistant. Some of them have scratched my face shield to the point that I had to buy a new one. no matter whether I was using a microfiber cloth or what. And then others just like made it super foggy because it wasn't made for that kind of windshield, like the plastic that your face shields are made of. And so it just like, not like foggy, like in the inside fogged up, but like foggy, like the plastic kind of becomes discolored and not see-through anymore. So I don't do anything to my face shield anymore. I just make sure that I have gloves that like have microfiber on the thumb and then a little hard piece of plastic on the finger so that I can do this and then rub the microfiber cloth across my face shield to get the moisture off for a little bit, and so on and so forth. Repeat till the end of time. Traveling with a dog or two in my sidecar, I try to make stops around every hour and a half so he can stretch his legs a bit. That's awesome. What the best part of your rides? What is the best part of your rides? Oh, that's so, like, oh, that's hard. Dale, hitting me with the hard questions. Oh gosh. Oh, geez. Probably, I don't, mountain roads. That's going to be my answer. Twisty mountain roads is the best part of the ride, I think. It's a very hard question. Because I do, since I got the new sleeping bag, the Big Agnes Diamond Park 0 degree bag, since I got that sleeping bag, I do really enjoy the moment that I crawl into bed at night. Which is a total change from my previous experience of camping, which is just kind of like doing it to be outdoors. Less because I'm comfortable, more just to be outside. But being excited to climb into my bed at night has been awesome. But probably Twisty Mountain Roads, that's my favorite. Just found this chat. Wow, oh my gosh, please come to Central Texas. You won't regret it. Ed, maybe in the future. I have like other things that I'm thinking about doing in February, but don't know yet. So won't share it because I don't want to get anybody's hopes up, but would be cool. Don't know yet. But possibly in the future, Central Texas. Any changes to your cooking gear? Not since I did the April trip to Central Oregon. If you watched that video, pretty much everything has been stayed the same, like with the kettle and the cup and oh no, that's a lie. There is one addition. I have one more little cup, like it's the X-Grip cup, the one with like the little ridges, and now I make my tea in that. I still carry my other cup specifically as like my bowl because like the Sea to Summit pop-up bowl is just too big for me. Because normally I use like whatever bowl I take with me to make oatmeal in, and I normally only make like maybe one packet, maybe two, and that fits perfectly in one of the Sea to Summit pop-up cups. And if I make more food than that, I'm just eating it straight out of the pot. I'm not gonna put it in another dish. So yeah, extra cup. But other than that, everything is the same as that trip that I did in March to Central Oregon, that moto camping trip. My kitchen equipment is pretty much exactly the same. I feel like I finally have gotten it narrowed down perfectly to what I need with the pan, the pot, 2 cups, and the kettle. And they all smushed right down together so they're not taking up a bunch of space. It's amazing. Yeah. Let's see. I can't go on Moto ATV stuff. I have to stick to slab. Okay, Velcro. That's a good excuse. I do enjoy your videos. I've done a lot myself, but still great to see what others do. Thank you. A pen and paper under the seat with fire starter? I like, with the way that I pack the back of the bike, getting under the seat is such a pain in the butt. I feel like I had many other better places to stow things than under the seat. Because like my luggage, the way that my saddle, oh my gosh, Amanda, speak. I'm not even through the first drink yet, okay? The way that my saddlebags are, they are like attached with G-hooks to my saddlebag racks, but then I have straps that come over the top to keep them like cinched up and not like super saggy. And those sit over top of my seat. I could probably cinch them way more down to put them under the seat. I just haven't. And then the way that my duffel bag sits on the luggage rack, it still hangs over the back of the seat. So if I wanted to get under the seat, everything would have to be unclipped and taken off and all. No, I don't keep anything underneath the seat. Tickets are going back on sale for Central Coast. Oh, okay. I did not know that. I think at this point, my other plans for October conflict with Central Coast Bro. So I guess we're going to find out if I can afford the ticket to the thing that I want to do in October. Then I won't be going to Bro. And if I can't, maybe I'll go to Bro. Unclear at the, I don't know. More likely, I probably will not be going to Babes Are Out this year. Maybe next year. In a couple weeks, we are going to ride Windy 9 in the Southeast Ohio. Kathy, that's awesome. I hope that you have a wonderful trip. Oh gosh, okay. How did you not get anything destroyed for isobutane canister explosion? Oh, how did nothing get destroyed when the isobutane canister exploded in my saddlebag? If you watched that whole video, a couple of my, like, I have these little metal containers that I hold, like my shampoo gets held in or whatever. The explosion did kind of like dent a bunch of those so that they weren't usable anymore. It did break one of, I have a little bottle of hand sanitizer, like Dr. Bronner's hand sanitizer, that broke, like it just broke the like plastic top that you push to spray. The bottle was fine. Yeah, I don't know. Luck, I guess, and because I keep everything stowed in stuff sacks, so there wasn't a whole lot that was just kind of loose in that bag around the isobutane canister. And the way the isobutane canister was sitting in my saddlebag, it was just perfect so that the bottom was facing the back end of the bag and not like up or anything. So the explosion went out the back end of the saddlebag, and it just kind of split the seam in those saddlebags. And I'm not sure, like, if it happened with like the new 2020 Wolfman line, if like that seam would have split, because like now instead of being hand sewn, because the bags that I had at that point were all like machine stitched, so it makes sense that that seam would have ripped because of the explosion. But now all of the seams of the Wolfman luggage are like RF welded, which is like radio welded. So all those like all that vinyl seaming is just like essentially rubber welded together, kind of. That's the rough idea anyway. So I'm not entirely sure if I had another incident. Not that that's going to happen because I don't keep the butane canister on that side of the bike anymore, but if I had another incident, I don't think that the Wolfman bags would split, even having a canister explode inside of them, because those seams are so much stronger now. Anyway, don't know. Luck, I suppose. I need to buy a new printer. Do you have recommendations? Well, that's a different kind of question than I normally get on these. Gosh, a new printer. We have a Canon Pixma. I think that's what it's called. Canon makes great printers. Brother has great printers. I guess it depends on what you need it for. We have the Canon Pixma, like IX, blah, 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 because it was one of the higher end things I could get that would print to the quality that I wanted, so that I could make some like small prints at home. It's not the one that I wanted to get. The one that I wanted to get has like 6 inks inside of it, and it's huge, and it's very expensive. So we compromised on the Canon Pixma that we have. At least I think it's Pixma. I don't know for certain. I think it's like IX 800 or something like that. Can't remember off the top of my head. Canon makes good printers. Cool. I had an old HP that lasted forever, so if you just need like an office printer, HP is cool. I haven't like bought anything new from them in quite a while, so I don't know if it would like live up to my expectations now. But any suggestions for an adventure bike that can also cruise interstates well? My Supermoto handles off-road better than interstates. Understandable. That's totally dependent upon your needs, your height, what you're comfortable with. If you have a Supermoto, try, if you can find one, because they're like gold right now, I would suggest go and test ride like a Yamaha T7, because if you have a Supermoto already, the T7 would ride more similar to what you're used to. I've heard Africa Twin is a good transition if you're going from dirt bike to ADV as well, because the Africa Twin is like leaning a little bit more on the dual sport side than the heavy ADV side, but still you're going to get great performance on the freeway. This is of course me talking from third-hand experience. Still haven't gotten to ride the Africa Twin. I did get to go sit on Beard Bikes and Camping's Africa Twin when he came to the 4th of July barbecue that I tabled at last weekend. Was that last weekend? Wow, time is weird. I did get to sit on it. I'm scared to ride one, you guys. I'm just gonna want it, and it's not gonna stop. I mean, like, I already want one, so I feel like it's just gonna get worse if I actually test ride one. Of course, I am totally biased. Definitely go and test ride as many as you can possibly get your hands on. But yeah, I think first, if you're coming from a Supermoto, I would recommend, if you can find a Yamaha T7, like the new ones, to test ride. I feel like that would be a good match. But again, if you can find a KLR 650 to test ride, definitely do that. Versus V-Stroms. V-Stroms are going to be more for the highway than they are for off-road, but my brother manhandles his all over the place, but he's also very tall, so what do you think the best camera for motor vlogging is? Ooh, this is a fantastic topic. As you guys will probably see when the IDBDR series starts coming out, I sold my GoPro. I had already been having a couple issues with it. Like, I don't know if it's my computer setup, which could totally be, or if it's just like me. But I was having issues. Like, there was a couple of clips that I really needed from the Oregon trip, and like I got the footage back to the house and was reviewing it, and it froze. Like, it played for like 2 minutes, and then something happened and it froze, but there was like no outward sign on the device while I was recording that there was a problem. And this has like been a problem for me with the GoPro for the last couple years, actually. So even since I first got it, like when I did the Idaho like BR, like the Magruder section, and that was the first trip that I did with the GoPro Hero 7 Black, I had so much issue with like frozen footage, and I thought it was just me. So I tried to work it out, figured out it was maybe a codec problem, fixed that stuff, and then it's okay, but it's still hit and miss. Sometimes stuff still freezes, and so I can't rely on the GoPro to be recording. So anyway, long story short, I sold the GoPro. Thank you, Whit, for buying my extra GoPro. I hope that it behaved better for you than it did for me. And I bought another Osmo Action. So now I am all DJI Osmo Action, handlebar and helmet cam, and that's what I use on the IDBDR. And except for one small fumble, which is totally user error, absolutely my fault. Halfway through the trip, I thumbed the control panel or whatever while I was moving the camera around in my tent after I'd gotten to camp for the end of the day, and somehow I turned off the Rocksteady. So the whole second half of the IDBDR, all of my helmet cam footage is not stabilized. Which is 100% my fault. And since I was traveling with somebody else, like, I didn't have like that extra time at the end of the day to myself to like go through my footage and make sure that everything was working well. If I had done that, I would have caught that the rock steady was off and turned it back on. Obviously that didn't happen. I'm dealing with it. It's making the editing process much longer and tedious, trying to fix it somehow, which in some cases I can slow it down, make it a little bit better. In other cases, it's just not usable. So that is a thing that I have been dealing with, editing the IDBDR footage. But other than that, I have had zero freezing issues with the Osmo Action. Whether it's hot, whether it's super cold, whether it's raining. And in my opinion, it is the most reliable action camera that I have used. I don't have any experience like with the drifts or the what is the other one? The Sony action camera. I don't have any experience with those, but between GoPro, any of the like knockoff GoPros, the old camera that I used to use, the Concorde or whatever it was, you can't get those anyway, so that doesn't matter. Between the GoPros, the knockoff GoPros, and the Osmo wins for reliability, use, and pretty much any temperature that I have thrown at it thus far, and nothing freezes. I haven't even had like an issue where like the little wrench comes up and it has to restart or anything like that. The Osmo is the most reliable, period. Also, the little mic adapter for the Osmo is so much smaller and it clicks right to the thing, and there's no chunky wires, there's no chunky box. It's like this big, it just clips right onto the thing and then your wires come out of it. So much better, okay? So I did play around with actual helmet audio direct from the helmet camera on the IDBDR2, so you might hear a little bit of that, specifically because it was so much nicer and tight, and I didn't have to like Velcro or glue things to my helmet. So, yeah. Can you tell that I have strong feelings about this? I don't know. Just completed an iron, but that's awesome, Steve. That's fantastic. I don't use saddlebags, but I understand. Okay, good. Waterproof luggage is definitely the only way to go, Kathy. 100%. If you are getting new to like motorcycle travel and you can't afford like motorcycle saddlebags yet, which I totally understand, I've been there, get a kayaking waterproof double and just strap it to your back seat. It's like if you get like a kayaking or like a riverboating or those kinds of like waterproof duffels, the material is super durable, which is what we want as motorcyclists. And oftentimes it has like little run-throughs so that you can strap it to the bike more securely, if that makes sense. Do you have a cry cut machine, or do you have a preferred sticker printing website company you go through? I do have a cry cut machine that I Silhouette Cameo for, thanks to my wonderful in-laws. But Jonathan's parents, I should say, we're not actually married, but Jonathan's parents bought me it. Thank you. Anyway, I do have a cutting machine, but I am still working out like how to make vinyl stickers, because that's the only thing that I figured out that I can make with the Cricut machine that's going to be waterproof and UV and all those things. Because if I print the stickers myself and then cut them with the Cricut machine, they're not waterproof. Which, you know, most people who bought stickers from my Etsy shop are either going to stick them like on their bike or on a vehicle or someplace where it's going to get water and it's going to be in the sun. So I don't feel comfortable selling that kind of stuff on my Etsy shop, because like even if I put a warning on it that like this is not waterproof, don't put this on the motorcycle, don't put this on your helmet, like people are going to do it anyway and then kind of be bummed. So I just haven't done that. I've done a couple experiments and sold those like with a big giant warning that they are not waterproof, you know. But for the most part, to get to your actual question, I use Sticker Mule and Sticker App. So Sticker Mule has like always been my go-to because in my opinion they have like some of the best quality vinyl that is waterproof and UV resistant, and I have always been happy with the things that they make for me. I normally wait, I'm on their email list, and they do these like daily deal things, so I wait until they have the sticker that I need on sale, and then I buy a bunch of them, because like sometimes you can get like 20 stickers, or like, no, 50 stickers for $19 if you wait for a sale. So sticker mule, yeah. If you can't wait, Sticker app has arguably the best prices for stickers from most people that I've talked to. And I think Moto Lady used Sticker app to do the stickers for a women's motorcycle show this year. So, yeah. Can I wheelie? No, I cannot. With all the trips planned, it sounds like you are not tied to a 9-to-5 job. Good for you if that is so. Enjoy. I do love all of your videos. Thank you, Kathy. I guess we'll talk about it. I did post it on Instagram, so it's not like it's secret knowledge anymore. But I did quit REI in February because they denied my medical leave. I developed an ulcer in December, and the pain was enough that I could not do my job. And it took me 3.5 months to heal. And in the middle of that process, the third-party company that REI uses to manage their medical leaves denied my leave. That is a whole other story. Very complicated. Not going to get into it. Very frustrating. Long story short, they denied my medical leave and demanded me come back to work. I was still in a lot of pain, so I quit. And I was only able to do that because of all of you guys and everybody who supports me on Patreon. I would not have been able to do that otherwise. I don't even want to think about what I would have had to do without your guys' support. I'm trying. Oh my God. Sorry. It just means the world to me that you guys are all here, and because of your support, I was able to focus on my own health and not sacrifice my health for the sake of paying bills. So that, I cannot thank you guys enough for that. So it's kind of wild. So I have been supporting myself through commissions and video editing and Redbubble and Etsy, and then from all the support from you guys since December. And it's really wild to think about. It's definitely not something that I ever thought that I would be able to do, and definitely not this quote-unquote early. But it's been incredible. But I am also not taking anything for granted, and if I need to, I am not like, let me restart. If I need to, if I get to a point where like everything slows down and I can't pay my bills anymore, I will absolutely get another job. But as of right now, between Etsy, Redbubble, and amazing sponsors like Onyx Off-Road and Moto Camp Nerd and my illustration commissions and Patreon, and then like the minimal amount of money that I get from AdSense and the minimal amount of money that I get from you guys purchasing through my affiliate links for Moto Camp Nerd and Amazon, I have been able to continue supporting myself. It's obviously not a ton of money. I'm sure not a lot of people would be comfortable with the amount of money that I'm making right now, but it's enough for me to pay bills and enough for me to get out and do these trips and vlog them for you guys to make the content that you have told me that you enjoy the most, which is travel vlogs. So that's just been absolutely incredible. And I've been very hesitant to talk about it because I know people, like, different people have different like opinions about like YouTubers doing the YouTube thing full time. But obviously Patreon knew the minute that I quit my job, because if you're a patron, you get the back end, so you get everything. So like patrons knew when I was sick and how long I was sick, and when I had to quit my job, and patrons know pretty much all my plans going forward to at least to October. I just posted a patron-only vlog, like updating about the plans, everything that's happening, going forward, and that kind of stuff. Pete, thank you so much for the super chat, man. You're amazing. Cheers. But yeah. Yeah. No worries, Kathy. It's okay. Yeah, thank you so much, Andrea. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you, Ed. You guys are awesome. Thank you, Jose. Okay, moving on to the questions here. Sorry. You recently said you replaced the last GoPro, but I can't remember the brand type of cameras you are now using. What is your preferred setup? Okay, so updated to what we have now, right? We have two Osmo Actions, one for handlebar, one for the helmet cam. I have two big cameras, as I call them. They are two mirrorless DSLRs. So I have the Sony A7R II, and then I have the Sony A5100, which I've had since the pilgrimage. Workhorse of a camera. I destroyed it, and then after I got the A7R II, I fixed it. It still looks janky as heck, but at least I can see the screen again. And then I have the DJI Mavic Air, the original one, not the 2. As my drone. And then I think that's all of them. Sometimes I end up using my phone, but I don't really count that because I don't use my phone as a primary thing. It's just kind of like if I'm in a restaurant and I forgot to bring my camera in or something like that. Oh, Danny, thank you so much for the super chat. Love you and your channel. Cheers. Cheers, Danny. Thank you so much. I mean, I need to make a new drink. Andrea Brown Events, thank you so much for the super chat. As soon as I pour myself my next drink, I will cheers you. Oh my God, you guys, I'm gonna cry. How do you say it? Melio72, thank you so much for the super chat. I'm pouring my next drink. Hold on. Thank you guys so much. I have no words. A little last bit of my soda here. What am I drinking? If you missed the beginning of the stream, I have bourbon from Easy Rider Whiskey. It's a Kentucky bourbon. The Easy Rider people are based out of Hood River, Oregon. They're super cool. They sent me the flask and the whiskey and everything, and then Coke. Cheers, you guys. Thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you, Bum Bum, for the super chat. Thank you, guys. Me, Leo. Oh, okay. Me, Leo. Okay, I got you. Thank you. Oh, and then I forgot my microphones for the camera setup. I have a Rode VideoMic Go. It's the little one. It's not like the one that you put for your camera, but it's the other little one that you put on top of the camera. And then I have a Purple Panda mic, and then I have an Olympus voice recorder. And then I also recently got the Rode VideoMic Go, like the lav mic one, so that you can hook the receiver on top of the camera, and then the other receiver is over here, and then you can hook the lav mic to it, and that has been an absolute game changer for getting clean audio when it is like loud around me. That has been absolutely incredible. My favorite new piece of kit, period. Audio is so important, you guys. It's so important. Whew. Okay. Right, where was I? 3.5 weeks to my departure to Rocky Mountain Roll 6. Have you been planning and preparing for 9 months? I have been planning and preparing for 9 months, and I still feel like I am not ready. Does that ever change? Absolutely not. I planned like the cross-country trip like of the United States for a year, and by the time that I was leaving, I was still like, I feel like I've forgotten things. Velcro, thank you so much for the super chat. Cheers, man. You are a huge part of the reason that I got back on a scooter. I know I have told you that before. What you do matters. Thank you. You guys are just trying to make me cry at this point. Like, thank you, man. Oh, my goodness. I'm fine. Everything's fine. I am a newer rider that has had a couple of scary moments due to high winds. Any advice to handle the winds or tackle my fears to get back on the motorcycle? Amanda, what kind of motorcycle do you have? I know like the more lightweight your motorcycle is, the worse that it's going to handle strong winds. And it's not always a solution, but like heavier motorcycles do tend to handle the winds better. Also like more CCs, because like riding in the wind on my Shadow 750 is totally different than riding in the wind on Lazarus, which is an 850. But also like Briareos handles the wind okay, but it's fuel injected, so the power delivery is totally different than my V-twin or even the four-cylinder on Lazarus. I know when I first started riding in the wind and I had like issues getting used to it, people would tell me to like stick your knee out towards the side that's like the wind is coming from. If you have hard panniers, I've also heard people say that like hard panniers are also really, they act like wind sails. If like you have a wind that's like hitting you like perpendicular from the side, hard panniers can be an issue, which is like another benefit of having soft panniers. The wind tends to kind of just like slope around them a little bit better than hitting just a flat surface dead on. If you like, oh gosh, yeah, it's really hard. I do tend to lean a little bit into the wind when I'm going down the road, and just try to keep yourself as centered in the lane as you possibly can be. So if a gust hits you, you don't get pushed into the lane next to you, that kind of stuff. But yeah, the bike that you have does make a huge difference about how it handles in the wind. Yeah. And all you can do is get through it, really. When we were in Baja, the Cia Cortez side of the peninsula gets some like really bad winds the closer you get to the United States. And I remember us going through that, and even on the Tiger, and the Tiger is a wind sail anyway because the center of gravity is so much higher than it is on Briareos. And Briareos, even having less horsepower, still is better in those kinds of high winds because it's lower profile, and the weight placement of the bike is much lower. So it's a little bit easier to handle, in my personal opinion. Anyway, when we were going through that wind, like all you could do is just lean into it and just like get through it. And half the time I was holding my helmet with my other hand so that my neck wasn't like kicked like 90-degree angle. Jason, thank you so much for the super chat, my man. Cheers. Just back to the Patreon. Keep living your dream. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh my gosh, you guys. Did I miss anybody? Did I miss somebody? No, I didn't. Okay, cool. Thank you, Jason. I really appreciate that. Welcome to the Magpie Parliament, as I like to call them. Did you find it hard to talk to strangers on trips not knowing them? Most of the time when I talk to strangers on trips, it's because they initiate conversation with me, not the other way around. Most of the time when I talk to strangers on a trip, it's because I need something. So, or like I need to ask a question about like the area, or if I'm lost, I need directions. And that was mostly like on the pilgrimage, because I made a rule for myself that I wasn't allowed to use GPS. So I had to talk to a lot of strangers on that trip. I had no other option, like, which is like was part of the plan. Like part of the plan of making it so that I wasn't allowed to use GPS was to make me talk to people, because I'm an outward introvert. Like I am an introvert. I need my own space. If left to my own devices, I probably wouldn't talk to anybody. But also, like, I love planning events. I love those short spurts of times hanging out with people and then getting to spend time alone again. Jim, thank you so much for the super chat, my man. Cheers. I think as far as like talking to strangers, if you are nervous, just like the best thing to do is like if you can think of a question to ask somebody so they can feel like they are useful. I feel like that is some of the best ways to start conversations. Yeah, but for the most part, people talk to me way more than I talk to people. Especially if you're alone on a motorcycle, like people will just like come out of the woodwork to like if you stop someplace, if you even at a rest area, people will ask you questions about the bike. And especially like a woman alone on a motorcycle, people have so many questions for you. Like they'll just besides stupid ones like, is that really your bike? Which, by the way, is like the stupidest question you can ask a girl who's obviously alone on the bike. I just got off of it. It's loaded with my stuff. Obviously, it's mine. Ugh. Worst question ever. Anyway. FA Wing Rider, thank you so much for the super chat. Stay strong. Keep doing the thing. Screw Ariane. I do think that genuinely, it was not their fault. It was really the third party people that they had managing their medical leave that I really have a couple things to say to. Everybody that I worked with at REI, I have zero hard feelings towards. They're incredible people, doing what they can right now. The whole world is crazy. But thank you for the super chat. I still think that REI is one of the better mega corporations that sell outdoor gear. They do spend a lot of money trying to help the outdoors and protect our right to be in the outdoors. Ride of Rides, thank you so much for the super chat. Cheers, my man. Love what you're doing. Keep on killing it. Thank you. Oh wow, we're coming up on we're over an hour. Woo. It's going by so fast. I missed hanging out with you guys. I'm waiting for the Honda 750. Awesome. I loved my Shadow. Like, it was a fantastic bike. It's so reliable. And any bike is an adventure bike if you try hard enough. I took that thing so many places. Probably was not meant to go, but I did it anyway. Tips on combating monkey butt. I don't have this problem as much as other people seem to. I don't know if I just don't sweat as much as other people do. I know that there's monkey butt powder. There's that. If you really have a sweating issue, try to wear clothing that is super breathable. Try out merino wool underwear, you know. That's going to it's antimicrobial, and it'll keep the moisture away from your body. It'll keep it evaporating as long as like your pants are breathable as well. So like maybe also look at the motorcycle pants that you're wearing. If they don't have any kind of vents, maybe look at different motorcycle pants, you know? Yes, thank you, Steve. Gold Bond powder. Hi from the Low Country. Hello. How durable is the Sena combination device in all types of weather? Fantastic question. Haven't had an issue with it. Have owned it 2 years now. Ridden through rain, some light snow, not actual snow, light snow, freezing temperatures, 100 degrees. It's been totally fine. I think the most important part about like making sure that your Sena has longevity is making sure that all of the ports that are closed, that can be closed, are totally closed. I know that some people will voice concerns about, especially the 10ski Evo, about the way that the plug is on the top so that like rainwater could potentially get in there. It's just making sure that like after you're done charging it, making sure that those rubber closures are properly closed. Otherwise, I haven't had an issue with it. Rico Suave, thank you so much for the super chat. I hope that I said that correctly. Really enjoyed seeing your illustrations in Tim's book. Thank you so much. I'm really surprised at the amount of people who like identified my work in the book. I know that it says it on the cover that it's my illustrations, but not a lot of people read that part. I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. Anyway, it was a fun project to work on after I finally said yes. I made Tim ask me like over a couple times because the first time that he asked me if I wanted to work on the book, I just told him no. I was like, I don't have time to do this, and I want to stay your friend, and I don't want you to hate me by the end of it, and vice versa. But I'm glad that he was persistent, and I ended up working on the project because it was super fun. Oh, awesome. Okay, where was I? Looking forward to Rocky Mineral 6. Yes! Oh my god, it's coming up so fast, you guys. DJI Action 2 is coming. Ooh, I'm excited about that. I'll be keeping my eyes out for that. Yes. What software do you use to edit your videos, PC or Mac? I am a PC user. I use Adobe Premiere Pro to edit all of my footage, and then I make all the maps that you see in the videos in Adobe After Effects. And like that's also a question that I get a lot is like, how do you make like the maps? I made the map, like the image of the map in Illustrator so that it was a vector file, and then imported it into After Effects, and then I animate the line in After Effects. So it's a little bit more complicated than a lot of people want to take the time to do. But once you figure it out and once you learn how to do it, it's not that complicated. Yay! My GoPro 9 freezes all the time. Okay, Andrea, it's good to know that it's not just me. 103, whoa, 117 people here. That's wild. Thank you so much for being here. You guys are so cool. 103 people, yeah. Meg rocks, all likes tonight, people. Thank you. My phone is propped up on my motorcycle engine so I can watch while I work on it. Well, I'm glad that I could create some background ambiance for you. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you for your audio quality concerns. It really adds the quality to everything. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Michael. I'm glad other people recognize the work. Because it's a little bit work. Average miles per day. I think that I answered that a little bit earlier. Anywhere between 175 to like 400. Moto camping in Virginia this weekend and rode through Shenandoah National Park and have the best time. Awesome, James. That's fantastic. I hope the weather holds out for you. I ride with my poodle on a Honda Shadow Aero. People approach me at every stop, not so much when I'm alone. I can totally see how the dog could definitely be a conversation starter. I definitely, like, if people pull up to me and they talk to me, I will ask them questions if they're riding with a dog because I am so fascinated with, like, how everybody approaches getting their dog comfortable with riding on a motorcycle. I think that it's fascinating. And not any two people have given me the same answer at this point either, which is so interesting. What are we drinking? Hi, Thomas. Easy Rider bourbon. They sent me this cool little flask. Isn't that cool? Yeah. Anyway, Kentucky Straight Bourbon. Easy Rider is based out of Hood River, Oregon, I believe. I'm gonna laugh my butt off if I've been wrong this whole time. And Coke, of course. Will you ever get a full dress bike for more comfort and space? The likelihood of me owning a bagger is very low. I have ridden them. I worked at the Harley-Davidson dealership for 2 years. They are comfortable bikes. They're also very heavy, not super maneuverable in tight spaces. And they're extremely expensive for what they are. So if I do ever own a bagger, it will be late in life or if somebody gives me one. Those are probably the two things that would have to coincide for me to own a bagger. Definitely could not afford one. If I can't afford an Africa Twin, which I want really, really bad, there's no way for me to afford a bagger. What is Super Chat? Okay, Super Chat is a thing that, like, if you open the chat on YouTube, down at the bottom, whether you're on mobile or desktop, there is like the smiley face, and then there is this little square with the money sign in it. A super chat is you sending me money, which I will not receive until next month because it comes in my Google AdSense payment. Anyway, you put in your payment info, you essentially tip me some money. They are non-refundable, so make sure that you do it very carefully. We have had like a couple of issues that, like, where people like accidentally thumbed something and hit the send button, and there is no way for it to be refunded. So make sure that if you do super chat, you do it carefully. You know the amount that you put in. You double check that amount before you hit the send button because it can't be undone. Okay, cool. But that's essentially what super chat is. I hope that that makes sense. Riding with border collie. Oh my gosh, cannot speak. Leroy in the sidecar. I always get people asking if they can take his photo for a girlfriend or something. He loves the attention anyway. That's awesome. I feel like traveling with a dog in that way is like the best because like the dog is just like, yes, give me love. Amazing. As long as they're not like a super anxious dog. I feel like that might be a problem then, but I am definitely guilty of being like, look, a dog, can I pet them, please? Oh, thanks for being here, Send It Steph. You're probably gone already by the time that I read this, but thank you for being here. Oh, good night. Greetings from Argentina and Patagonia. That is so cool. That is so cool. Your enthusiasm of life is wow. I am going to credit my mother and my father with my enthusiasm for life, especially like my mom, who gets excited about like the smallest things, you guys. Like, she could get, like, when I used to go through the bank drive-through with her when she would deposit money for like her work when I was a kid, and like my mom would just get like light up and be so excited about like getting those like little dum-dum suckers and that kind of stuff. My mom is so cool, you guys. Anyway, that was just like a very specific memory, but like my mom gets excited about like the smallest things, and like it taught me that like even if it's like a small thing and it goes right, like it should be celebrated. And that is so cool. I love you, Mom. I'm crying again already. Yep. Ugh. Yeah. Have you ridden Elk Meadow Road going east from Lolo Pass? East from Lolo Pass. Is that the one that goes up and around into Missoula? I don't know if I know exactly where you're talking about. I rode Lolo Motorway from Pierce to Forest Service Road 107 because that's where I had to get out when I broke my wrist. So I broke my wrist around, oh my God, I can't remember what it's called. It's one of the little lakes near one of the lookout towers. And I broke my wrist, and then I had to ride I think it was 10 miles to Forest Service Road 107. And then it was another 30 from where I got out to Locksaw Lodge. Yeah. So I've ridden 3/4 of Lolo Motorway, I think. Assuming that 107 isn't the road that you take to get out on the Idaho BDR. I don't know. I can't remember. So maybe not. Unsure to your question. Whew. I already have a half-acre twin. This is true. This is very true. Yeah, like the decision making is so hard. Like, do I just dump the same amount of money that I would spend to get like a used Africa twin, making like rally rating the CB500X, or do I leave the CB500X the way that it is and get a used Africa twin? The struggle is real. Not that I have the funds to do that anytime soon, but just things that you think about the daydreaming about the motorcycles. I think that all of us do that. But also, like, do I need an Africa Twin? I don't know. It would be nice to have an Africa Twin to do more cross-country stuff. Like, I think that Briarios did great on a cross-country trip, but I can definitely see a higher CC motorcycle being a little bit more comfortable. You definitely get some vibration off of the CB500X going down the freeway that does affect your body. It makes you more tired, whether you notice it or not. By the end of the day, you're definitely feeling it. And I think like a higher CC motorcycles definitely have the upper hand in that department. Just less vibration because there's more power delivery, all those things. Yeah. Just things to think about. Just all the stuff that I do in the PMW, like Briarios is more than capable. Even the cross-country trip, Briarios is more than capable. I think it's just because of the sheer amount of time that I spent on the freeway was really the only reason that I was like, sometimes, very few, but sometimes I wish that I had a little bit more oomph just to accommodate the extra vibration that that bike puts out because it's a smaller CC on the freeway. My 500X seems to do a great job. Africa Twins are pretty heavy. This is true. I feel like the majority of my wish for the Africa Twin is probably more to do with like just long distance travel and less with like what I would want to do with it off-road. Especially with how tall the Africa Twin is, there would be a span of time where I would just have to become readjusted to only putting one foot down off-road again, the way that I did when I rode the Tiger off-road. But I love riding the CB500X off-road because it feels very attainable and very comfortable, and I don't do anything complicated off-road. Like, I'm really one of those like people who are like, I really love prime, like easy traversable Forest Service roads. The Idaho BDR is perfect for me, and I love being able to just pick my way through stuff and do it at my own pace. I am in no way interested in like rushing through any of that stuff. So it doesn't bother me any, and it doesn't bother anybody else because most of the time I'm traveling by myself. And like my wish for the Africa Twin is in no way saying that the CB500X is not a fantastic bike, because I wouldn't in no way ever get rid of that bike. I love it. It is my baby. He is not going anywhere, the same way that Lazarus is also not going anywhere. She is my baby. They are mine forever. Hello, Carla. Thanks so much for joining us on a live stream. New follower, and am enjoying your videos. Hi from way too flippin' hot Las Vegas, Nevada. Oh my gosh. I am sending you strength. Wow, I cannot imagine. How is my brother, by the way? Did he make it home okay? He did make it home okay. Totally fine. No issues. And exciting news, he is coming to South Dakota with me. I am so excited. Also, news about the South Dakota trip, because if you've been in here for an hour and a half with me, you deserve to know. I was weak, you guys. I have decided to haul the motorcycles with the truck. 2 reasons. One, I feel like I have done enough between being freezing cold this year, riding in the heat, riding in the rain, that I deserve a little bit of luxury, okay? And I'll explain what luxury is in a second. And number 2, I am going to get on ADV Fest as like a guest of Revzilla to make a video. And I want to be able to make the best video that I can of the event, which requires having some kind of base to keep everything charged, and also bring along with me some heavier equipment, some excess equipment that I may not bring with me normally if I was just on the motorcycle. So, all these things being said, I have a truck camper, which patrons already know about, have seen a couple of times. I was gifted a truck camper by one of my other moms, Pam, Thank you so much. And it is a pop-up truck camper. I've had it since November. I have been doing a lot of work on it, getting it ready for this trip, and also just use in general to meet my needs. So I have a pop-up truck camper that's been on my F-150 since November, and I am very, very excited. I've gone in like 2 camping trips with it, so I'm very excited to for this to be its like first proper long haul trip in the truck camper. And because I am taking the truck and towing my motorcycle, it has made it possible for my brother to come along with me, because I was going to do this anyway. So I told my brother, well, I bribed him, really. That's really what happened. I bribed my brother to buy his ticket to get on ADV Fest, and I would pay for gas and everything else. So all he has to do is worry about feeding himself and his ticket to the event. And he already bought his ticket. And so all he has to do is worry about feeding himself and whatever things he wants to buy along the way. And then I would pay for gas to get us from point A to the event and back. So I'm very excited. Brother will be joining me, and I will be in like the most amount of luxury that I've had in a while, in a truck camper, not in like in a hotel. So maybe not the exact form of luxury other people would call it, but for me, it is like a mansion. I have running water, I have a fan, I have a nice 2-burner stove, a heater that works, now that we'll probably need the heater in South Dakota in July. And there's also a water heater and outside shower, so I don't know, it feels like luxury to me. I am so excited. Camper and bikes, next video series. Yeah, I was like super debating about whether or not I was going to vlog the trip to South Dakota, because I didn't know if you guys would even be interested in that, because it's going to be in the truck camper. I don't know. I'm definitely going to like vlog it, whether or not I put those videos on this channel or if I put those videos on another channel, uncertain. But you guys will definitely get a video all about the Get On ADV Fest, me test riding the Pan America, and all of the things that the beautiful Black Hills have to offer. And I think this is like so poetic, because like when we went through there, Gary and I went through there last year, we were so adamant that we need to go back there, because there's so many things that we did not know about until we got there, that you just like, you have to go back a second time. It's so important. And so like the universe was just like, ta-da! And I was like, opportunity grabbed. Thank you very much. I'm so excited. Oh, I'm so excited. And I leave on Monday. Oh, I have so many things to do still. It's fine. My happy is infectious. Thanks, Ed. When is Rimmer and any tickets left, Steve? Okay, Rocky Mountain Roll is the first weekend of August. I believe this year is the 6th. It starts the 6th to the 9th, I think. It's 4 days. Friday is the 6th, so I think it's to the 9th. Anyway, right now we are sold out. However, I do have a waiting list for people who would like to have tickets. And I will let you guys know, because you're still here on the stream and I appreciate you, that there are, I think that I have 3 tickets from people who have already emailed me to tell me that they're not going to be able to go. And I have gone through the waiting list already, and everybody who had wanted to add themselves to the waiting list earlier in the year have already made other plans. So if you want to come to Montana in, what is that, 2 or 3 weeks? August 6th to 9th. I know this is also short notice, and you would like to inquire if there is a ticket left for you, please email me. That one is rockymtnroll@gmail.com. If you email the As the Magpie Fly ones, I won't, as the Magpie Fly's Gmail account, I won't blame you. But if you could email the rockymtnroll@gmail.com email, that would be super helpful. I get a lot of emails and stuff, so being able to pick out what is for what is super helpful for me. So please and thank you. Yeah, I think that answers that question. Anyway. No, I haven't ridden Elk Meadows. Okay, cool. Thank you, Mom. Have I ridden Beartooth Highway? Yes, I have. I rode Beartooth Highway on Lazarus during the pilgrimage in 2016. Let me tell you, riding that road on like a 30 or 40 years old at this point, but at that point, 30-year-old motorcycle with carburetors was distracting. It was a beautiful road. I would definitely ride it again. It's gorgeous. But worrying about whether or not your bike is going to cut out at the top, little distracting. Little distracting. Yeah. Brett. I no disrespect, but I helped my workmate pick up an Africa Twin, and you couldn't ride it alone because there is no way you could pick it up. I would just like to tell you that I taught grown men how to pick up beggars at the Harley Davidson when I worked there, okay? I haven't come across a motorcycle yet that I can't pick up by myself. So don't underestimate me, please. And I'm damn sure the Africa Twin does not weigh more than a fully dressed motorcycle. When we were kids, we cleaned the roads with our tongues. Oh my God. I'm checking out. I'm curious of your age. Love your videos. I am a non-biker that wants the Honda Rebel 1100 auto so bad. I am 29. My birthday is in November. Hello from Bandera, Texas. I test rode the Pan America last Saturday. You are going to love it. Have a great time. Keep riding and putting out great content. Thank you so much. Yeah, I've heard really great things about the Pan America, and like after like Nathan and Dork on the Road both test ride them, I'm like, does anybody actually even want to hear my opinion about it? I don't know. I feel like everybody has been able to test ride the Pan America so far, and I think it's so cool that so many people, like even the, oh God, I can't remember his name, the guy who test rode it for ADV Rider had a fantastic time. So I think that's super cool. It definitely has its own niche, but I think it's awesome. And hopefully my experience goes well. I don't know. Hopefully I'll still be able to make it to Rocky Mountain Roll, even if just in the car as I'm post shoulder surgery. Oh man, I'm sending you all of the healing vibes. Thomas, thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, I think we're coming to the end of the questions here. A reference to an old Monty Python skit about luxury entitlement. I mean, like, I watched some of the Monty Python things. I just don't remember that. I don't know. I don't think it's showing your age. I think Monty Python is like has its own like cult following. Because like we watched it when I was in high school. Is this the longest stream ever? I don't know. We're an hour and a half? I don't know. We should probably wrap it up, I guess. I got my 21-inch Africa Twin at the end of May. Kitting it out for longer adventures now. Your vids give me so much encouragement. That's awesome! Oh, that's so cool. I wish you like all of the awesome adventures. And just know that there will be growing pains with any new bike, with any new setup. Do not give up. Keep doing the thing. You will get better every single time that you go out. Yeah. Hi, Jeff. Do you know anybody or any of your listeners that know anything about the spin cargo system Single wheel off-road trailer. Whew, that is a very specific question. I don't know. Anybody? I know, isn't there like a group on Facebook all about like motorcycle camp trailers like that? I thought there was. Anybody who knows anything about that kind of trailer, definitely tell Jeff if you know anything. Have you ever thought or planned of doing a cross country anywhere else, i.e., across Europe? Whew. I mean, like, that would be cool. Definitely, like, I've daydreamed about going across Mongolia or going across China. Obviously, China has, like, always been my go-to when people were like, if money was no object, where would you go? I would go to China. I would love to ride through China. I think it would be fascinating. I think it would be so cool. There's obviously a lot of, like, monetary hurdles and paperwork to jump over to ride through China. But that would be like my go-to. I think that would be so cool. But you have to have like a guide with you the whole time. You have to pay for that guide and everything that they do. And then all the paperwork if you want to bring your own motorcycle into the country, which is incredibly difficult. Or on the other end of things, to buy a motorcycle once you get into China. That's like a whole thing. Yeah, I think it would be really cool to travel in other countries, but right now, the amount of funds that it takes to do those things is a definite barrier for me at the moment. It would take a whole lot more than like the $2,500 that it took me to go across country in the United States to travel across a different country. If that makes sense. I think that makes sense because like transport fees, like carnets, if you have to get one for that country, all those things. Would you interview Roz V from Roz Motorcycle Adventure when finished her tour of Australia? I mean, like that would be super cool. I haven't done anything like that before. I don't know. Maybe I should start my own podcast. Like everybody has their own podcast. I don't I feel like there are probably also like much more skilled interviewers than I to interview Roz. Maybe we can get her on like one of like the multi-women live streams that Diddle hosts sometimes or something. That would be really cool. You can't do any worse than Catherine on Bunny Hogs, who dumped the new Harley on her vlog. Dude, like everybody drops their bikes. There's no shame in that. Like anybody who says that they have never dropped a bike before is either has only been riding a short period of time or is lying. Period. Like everybody has dropped a bike before, or like either that or like you haven't gone very far. I don't know. But like even my grandpa will say that, and my grandpa is like 80. Okay, he has dropped his fair share of motorcycles in his life. And I think that there is no shame in it. And I think people who shame other people for dropping their motorcycles are dumb and lying to themselves. Your brother needs the new KLR. I don't know if Gary is watching, but I don't know if he would agree with you. Shaylee C on Shade Tree Surgeon drops hers all the time. Like seriously, like it doesn't matter. You got like bikes are gonna drop. Okay, they're two wheels and a little kickstand. Like everybody has like either forgotten to put their kickstand down or like did some kind of slow speed maneuver and like slowly put the bike down or something like that. Like everybody has done it. Like it's a rite of passage as a motorcyclist. And if you ride off road, like I've heard a lot of people say that if you haven't dropped the motorcycle, you're not challenging yourself. Like, I've been watching Roz for at least 6 months and I agree. Yeah. Roz is really cool. Yes, podcast would be great. Does anybody really want to listen to this? I don't know. I mean, you guys have been here for over an hour and a half, so I guess maybe. I don't know. Would it be just as interesting if there was no video portion of it, though? Like, maybe I would do a video podcast. Maybe we would do that. I don't know. If you do not drop, you're not riding. When's the Do the Thing movie coming out? I have discussed like maybe like redoing the pilgrimage and making that like a big long like thing instead of episodic, because those episodes are actually pretty short compared to like what I make now. But like I went back and tried to like go through the footage that I have, and I don't know if I could, or like not in like I wouldn't be able to do it, but more of like there is so much work to be done to bring that footage up to my level of expectation for myself now. Yeah. You're so right about everyone dropping a bike at some time. Thank you. Yes. Yes. You guys know. That's why I like you. We understand each other. Yes. Have you got anything without spam in it? I don't know what that means, Stefan. Ryan, thank you so much for the super chat. Kudos for the improvement in your vids over time. Keep on the good work. Thank you very much. We've had quite a few people who like have gone through and watched a bunch of the pilgrimage videos, and like they comment and that kind of stuff, like binging to the pilgrimage videos, and I'm just over here like, I am so sorry. I hope that you watch some of the new stuff before you just like leave my channel entirely, because I have come so far. Please show the truck camper trip. I would love to do a drive ride trip. Okay, cool. I'm glad that other people would be interested in that. I was like so hesitant because like I know that people come here for like motorcycle travel content, and I'm so hesitant to like include travel, like trailering the bike someplace. I don't know. Yeah. I dropped my bike just last Saturday and I had to get a friend to help me pick it up. My foot slipped, so I went down. Oh, yeah. See, like it just happens. There is no shame. It's just something that happens, okay? Like it's not like we're riding ATVs. There's just two wheels, you know? Unless you're a three-wheel rider, is that a bike? That is quite the argument, actually. Like, are trikes considered motorcycles or are they not? I think that we have a similar spirit. I think tricycles, like, and people who ride motorcycles have a very similar desire for freedom, similar kind of feelings about long distance trips and that kind of stuff, more so than like ATVs versus motorcycles. Like that's a much bigger topic. My bikes take naps all the time. Yeah, they get tired. I've dropped my motorcycle 6 times, less than 10 miles per hour or stationary. So far, I think I'm winning. Been riding for more than 15 years now. Yeah, I feel like you're doing pretty good. The only rider who does not drop their bikes are riding trikes. Yes, agreed, 100%. Not an issue trailering it or sleeping in hotels. Always love the content. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate you. You might be like one of my longest term like people who have been supporting me from the beginning. Because Sean, weren't you like following when I had just the blog before I even started making videos? Like I think you've been here the longest. I would be interested in your camper towing your bikes. That is what we want to do in the future. Okay, cool. Okay, awesome. Do you watch Sterling Noreen? Of course I watch Sterling. Oh my God. I was a fan of Sterling before he even started making YouTube videos. I like when I first learned about the BDR and then found out that Sterling was the one who made those videos, I did like a deep dive into like his filmography. So I've watched like the series that he made in like Africa with like the Globe Riders, and then the series that he made in Mexico, the series that he made with like Expedition 65 in South America. I love his work so much. I don't know if I could speak coherent sentences if I got to meet him in person, because I would be so starstruck. Anyway. You and him are my favorite motorcycle video creators. Oh, that is like the biggest compliment. Thank you so much. Trikes are motorcycles, maybe not bikes, but still motorcycles and still in the wind. Yes, I back your statement. Do you get allergies to contend with? Okay. I mean, like when I'm going down the road, like I get a runny nose, but that's less because of allergies and more because I learned that like just like the vibration of being on the motorcycle, it breaks like some of the like little dams that you have in your nose. That's why you like get a runny nose when like you're going down the road. Or at least I do. I don't know if you do, just going down the road in general. But I get a runny nose when I'm on long trips. But that's not because of allergies. It's just because of going down the road, or in the cold or stuff like that. I have not, to my knowledge, experienced allergies. My partner has been having a terrible time with allergy season this year. So seeing what he's going through, I don't think I've ever gone through that. So I don't think so. I'm 6-pack in. Oh, wonderful. I'm barely at the end of my second drink. I think we'll say once I finish this drink, we'll shut it down here. I'd be interested in trailer camping videos as well. Awesome. Okay. Oh, you guys are making me feel so much better about this. Thank you. I'm so glad we talked. My first time off-road in mud and rocks, and I can't tell you how many times my mother and I dropped our bikes. For me, I dropped it at least 9 times. Yes, exactly. I feel like if more people, at the very minimum, even like took a dirt riding class, like even if you're just a street rider, if you had any kind of experience riding a bike off-road, there would be so much less stigma about people dropping their motorcycles. I think that like I understand like the idea like, oh god, you dropped the bike because like you scratched the paint or something, like on street motorcycles because the paint is like a status thing. I have never really understood it. But like that kind of like scratches and dings and that kind of stuff seems to be some kind of status thing on street bikes that I have never quite understood. Maybe it's because it affects the value of the motorcycle. I'm not entirely sure. But I think if more people, when you take the MSF course, I feel like you should have to do at least like one little section of riding on dirt. I think it would make so much more people feel more comfortable riding down gravel roads. And also, I think it would put into so much more perspective that dropping your bike is not the worst thing in the world. And it is something that everybody does. And I think that would help so much. I'll watch anything you put out. Thank you. Sterling inspired me to start writing. He's on another level, like for real. I mean, like, it makes sense. He's a video making professional, so it makes sense. I've been around for a while, but I've been a bit of a squeaky wheel, making joking, obnoxious comments, but trying to be supportive, lend support, and make you laugh here and there. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate you. No allergies here, but I did get stung right on the neck by a bee when I was riding. Ugh, been there. I've had a bee go up my sleeve when I was still just wearing leather and not textiles. When I was still wearing leather, I had a bee go straight on my sleeve and sting my elbow 3 times. It wasn't a bee, it was a wasp. And sting 3 times before I could stop and get it out of my jacket. And then when we were in Baja, I had a wasp down there sting me like straight on the neck. And at first it just kind of hurt. And the longer that we went, it like, I think it's like a different kind of wasp. I swear to God, you guys, the further we got down the road, the more that like my fingers got tingly, like parts of my body started to go numb, and like my neck felt like it was swollen up to like the size of a grapefruit. It didn't, but that's what it felt like. And we finally stopped, and Carl pulled out its stinger, and it was so long, like it was insane. Anyway, that's my bee sting stories. Sterling recently got in a jam and had to leave his bike on the trail. Oh man, I don't know if I've watched that one yet. Like I said, catching up. I've been on the road so much this summer. It's been really hard to keep up with YouTube. Have you ever made any decals for your motorcycle? I do have these little vinyl stickers that I put on the swing arm. So on Briarios, it has my Instagram handle on the swing arm on the motorcycle. So you can definitely spot my bike at an event because it says Blind Thistle on the swing arm. So you know it's mine. And then when I had the Tiger, I had like a Nice Adventure sticker on the swing arm and my handle, I think. Pretty sure. Yeah. But that's about it. I haven't done like any wraps or anything like people do. I did consider taking the orange stripes off of Briarios, but it works so well with the way that I edit photos that like I just haven't done it. Like open and honest, we get the best videos there. Should you swat it or deal with it? Oh, like bugs? I'm assuming you're talking about bugs, like when bees go up your sleeves and that kind of stuff. I think that with wasps, I think like if you can crush it, I feel like that's better, because if a wasp goes up your sleeve and it's just like free going around in there, it's gonna keep stinging you until you can stop and deal with it. So if you're in an area that you can't stop, I think it's still better just to crush it. But if it's just like a regular bee, like it's gonna die as soon as it stings you once, so it's not a big deal. I don't know. 50-50, you know. I do agree with you, riding dirt fire roads should be part of the training. It is totally different world, but you can use the skills anywhere that is slippery. 100%. Yes. Excuse me. Her two wheels and one down G-Up are just traded some of their bikes and were being overly apologetic about it. I posted the Joseph Campbell quote about following your bliss. Do what is fun for you. 100%. Like, do what you want to do, you know? I think that is really important. It's like living your, like if you do YouTube, living the life the way that you want to live it, and not just because like your audience on the internet may not like what you're doing or something like that. I don't know. And that's the way that I am. Like I do these trips because I would have done them anyway, not just because it would make good content on YouTube. And that is the way that I go about like all my trips. Do I want to do this? Yes. Cool. Then maybe somebody would like to watch it too, because I already want to do it. So chances are other people probably want to do it too. I think that's something that has to be really important to keep in mind if you decide to do YouTube and that kind of stuff, is doing things because you want to do them, not just because you think that they would make a good content idea. Looking at you reminds me of the day when I got on a bike trip to North America and watching you in South Korea. That's awesome. I think there is a company in Canada that makes a great one-wheel or off-road trailer. I agree with you totally about dropping a bike. Yes, 100%. Yeah. I worry about tank slap. I think that's a genuine concern if you high side, like going around a corner or something. If I get a bee up my sleeve. Oh, I see. I see what you mean. Yeah. Yeah. Does the windshield keep the wind off your body and head, or just your body? Can you talk about windshields? That is a new question. Thank you for asking me a question that I don't think anybody has ever asked me, Ricky. On Briarios, the windshield mostly keeps the wind off of like most of my body. I think that the cutoff point is like in the middle of my helmet. So I'm still getting a little bit of buffeting, and especially with the visor on my helmet, I do get a little bit of wind grab there. But I've been wearing the same helmet for like almost 3 years at this point, so I don't really notice that anymore. My neck muscles have become accustomed, I should say. So when people ask me if like there's a lot of wind grab on the AT950, it's hard for me to answer because I am just used to it at this point. There probably is a little bit more wind grab than you would get if you took the visor off, which is on the AT950, the Scorpion helmet that I wear. It is totally removable. You could take the visor off. I'm just lazy. I don't want to take it off because when the sun starts to go down, I love being able to like kind of tip my head and get that shade over my eyes. And so like the small inconvenience of like my neck muscles having to do a little bit more work because the wind is grabbing my visor just a little bit more isn't a deal breaker. I think that's what I'm thinking anyway. And versus like the windshield that I had on the Honda Shadow, it was ginormous and it definitely blocked all of the wind all the way up to my head because I sat much further down the motorcycle. However, the downside of having a much larger windshield like that is that if it's raining or if the visibility is poor or for whatever reason your windshield starts to gather scratches and that kind of stuff from you cleaning it with something other than a microfiber cloth, then your visibility goes way down. So like being able to see the road straight ahead of you, if you can't look over your windshield, the visibility goes way down and it's kind of a compromise. It's much harder to ride in the rain with a windshield that covers your whole like view of the road ahead of you, which most windshields that are tall enough to block the wind from going over top of your head are. So I am totally fine with the way that the Briareos' windshield is because I have visibility in the rain because I can look over that windshield. If that makes sense. I think that makes sense. So like pros and cons of both. Like if you're just a fair weather rider, I think it's totally fine. Be conscious that you have to clean your windshield with very specific cleaner and a microfiber cloth, because if you try to use any other kind of like even just like a glass cleaner and like like a paper towel or something like that, you're going to develop micro scratches that are going to eventually like fog out that windshield and you're not going to be able to see through it as easily anymore. I hope that makes sense. Yeah. I duct tape my ends on rides if I can. Do you mean like across here, or? I don't feel truly connected to a bike until I've dropped it once. Yes, it's literally like a rite of passage, I swear. I dropped Briareos literally the first day that I brought it home, okay? Just for context. My wind slap is crick. If I set it up, I'm not sure that I understand what you said. Hey, it's Mohawk Mike. He's here. I'm so glad that he showed up. We're at the very end of my drink here, but I'm glad that you're here. Makes sense. Okay, cool. Awesome. I'm glad that my rambling answer made any kind of sense. I don't know. Yeah, sometimes like I'm just talking to myself and I'm like, well, it makes sense to me, but I'm not entirely sure that it makes sense to other people the way that I say it. So I know that sometimes my brain works a little bit different than other people's. Okay, you guys, we're at the end of my drink. Any last questions you have for me before we sign off now that we're at like the 2-hour mark? End of drink. I only brought in 2 cans of soda. So cleaning bugs from windshield or helmet, the best thing to do is warm water and microfiber cloth on it for a few minutes and wipe it off. 100%, I back your statement. Have you thought about a new wind screen to push the air over your helmet? Like I said, especially in the mods video that I made, I just don't see a reason for it. It's totally fine the way that it is. And I like the compromise of it, even though the wind ends up hitting like the middle of my helmet, it still goes up and over. It's not a huge issue. And I can still see over my windshield when it is raining. And I can't really see through my windshield when it is raining. I'll probably get a new windshield eventually, but probably not one that would push the wind over my helmet. Probably just the same stock windshield that I already have, because I learned that cleaning problem where like you're not supposed to use like windshield cleaner and those kind of cleaners on your windshield after. So you can probably tell in videos that like my windshield has definitely seen better days and is slowly starting to fog a little bit from scratches and also just from like the chemicals that I used to use on it to try to clean it. Yeah. So the only reason I would probably replace my windshield is just to get one that is like not as scratched up as the one that I have. Not necessarily to get one that was taller or anything like that. I know that they make like little clip-on additions that you can put on the stock windshield to just like add a little bit more height. But that's probably not something that I would do at this point. Yeah. Thank you, Amanda, for being here. Thank you, Sean. My brain works sometimes or different. I'll watch the truck trip if you promise to still take dance breaks. I will do my best. My brother will be with me though, so we'll see if I can handle. No, I can't say that because I definitely did that when we did the Oregon trip. I danced all over the place when we stopped at the Pillars of Rome in Oregon, and he caught me with his camera. So there will probably be dancing. I can't promise, but there will probably be dancing. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Be safe. Take care. Yeah, truck camper dance breaks. Okay, we're all in alignment. There will be truck camper dance breaks. Awesome. Okay, I think we're gonna wrap it up here, guys. We have hit the 2-hour mark. I need to start hydrating. Great hanging out with you. Thank you. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate you so much. And also, as always, a huge shout to my Patreon supporters who make these videos possible. If you would like to support these videos, and as little as $1 a month, you can get early access to videos like the IDBDR series before the rest of the world. My patrons will be getting the IDBDR series as soon as I finish it before I leave on Monday, which is a full week ahead of when everybody else will see it, and you get those ad-free until I post them on YouTube. And yeah, that would be cool. And patrons also make it so that I can still exist the way that I do the trips that I do, all of the cool things. As always, if you cannot support me monetarily right now, that is absolutely okay. I 100% understand. I appreciate you guys just for being here every single week, hanging out with me on live streams like this, and also just watching the videos. It makes a huge difference in my life. So thank you for being here. You guys are incredible. And in the meantime, I will see you later. As soon as I hit the button. Okay, bye.